Steve Day, thanks for joining me, man.
Thank you, sir.
You're in town to do the City Strength photo shoot.
I am.
So congrats on becoming a sponsored athlete.
Thank you, my friend.
Relatively recent.
Yep.
Let's start off by going through your background a little bit. So do you remember your first memory or interaction with physical culture?
So, oh man, shit.
You
I
can
grew
swear.
up.
You can swear, by the way.
Yeah, I probably will. I grew up playing rugby league since I was 5 or 6. So I played league until I was 15, 16. Then I stopped because I stopped growing while everyone else kept growing. And then went from there straight to touch football because I still had the skill set from rugby league. And I was a back and I was good at it. So I went the full switch when I was playing just touch footy in the off season just to keep the skills up, and then actually excelled really, really well at touch football. Almost made the Australian team.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yeah. That was when I was 16, 17, the schoolboys team that I had then. You know, I'd be in all the rep comps that we'd have all over Queensland and stuff like that, like state cups and stuff. So I did all that and then kept playing touch footy for a bit, but then moved into boxing after that for a few years. It was like 2 years, bit of Muay Thai and boxing at the same time, just because of the bloke that I lived with, actually. So I lived with another a guy who was into, just like training, I suppose, but he was into that and I was into footy. And then he's like, oh, I'll do a season of footy with you if you come on your off days to boxing with me. And I was like, all right, but I don't want to kick.
Did you find that helped your footy?
Endurance wise, yeah, because it was like it got to the point where we would say I'd get home from work and I'd put my running shoes on and I'd be able to run 10, 15K and like it was nothing, just about every day. And then, and touch football wasn't something that was like, it's like a seasonal sport, right? So it wasn't the whole year back then. It was kind of, you played it in the off season for footy. And then outside of that, you didn't really do much. So that was still like training for it then. But then because we'd do boxing on the other days when they were kind of both together, it sort of just meshed, right? And then I never actually went into the ring. I didn't have any fights, but we spoke about it. I was like, okay, I got to do it. But I was like, I want to get a bit bigger. And that's where I found weights.
Right. So what was your training like when you started in the actual gym?
So it was just being an idiot, right?
Yeah.
Because I come from footy and boxing. It was just like, let's lift as much as I can.
Bench press and curls.
Yeah, and then go for a 5, 10K run on the treadmill. But treadmill running for me was so boring. I couldn't do it. I loved just like road running.
Yeah, cool. So how long after starting lifting weights did that develop into competing in powerlifting? Because I remember you from like 2016 sort of areas.
Yep.
Was that your first year or was it like 2015?
2015 or 16. I did an IU comp, an underground in Brizzy. Was a junior. Didn't know that junior category was under 23. I didn't know anything like that. Wrote my own program. Went into it and went 585 at 72 kilos, which was like, is still relatively competitive now. And back then it was quite high. I didn't know, I had no idea. I was just got, it's funny actually. So my old man was watching, so like we talk about like my family, I got 2 half sisters, one from my dad's side and one from my sister's side, from my mum's side. And my, like, I guess closer half sister's, brother, who's obviously not my brother. It's funny how it all works. But yeah, he was playing footy one day, so my dad went to watch. And my sister's uncle is actually Sean Muir.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how it all kind of started.
So you were introduced to powerlifting by Sean Muir?
Yeah. So my dad was there watching the game. I was not there, and he showed Sean video of me lifting, and Sean's first words. This was back in PA days. This was when Sean and Mr. Wilkes were really close too, quite close friends.
So a long time ago.
Long time ago, very long time ago. Yeah, he said, does he take drugs? And my old man was like, no, not at all. Doesn't touch him. And it was, I think I was squatting like 215 kilos or something, and I was tiny, and
You'd want a refund from your steroid dealer if you were on drugs at doing 580.
yeah, and then my old man like calls me that afternoon, and he goes, "Oh, you should give your uncle a call." And I was like, "Who the fuck's my uncle? Like, what do you mean?" And then he explained everything. I was like, "Oh, so you mean my sister's uncle? He's not my uncle, because he's part of my sister's family who my dad was then divorced to, and then married another lady who's my mum."
What's his actual relation title then? Is that like half uncle or like uncle once removed or something? Like what's the actual title?
I haven't like read that deep into it, but it's not related directly to me. It's related to my half sister.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, he gave me a call about a week or two after that, and I met him, caught a train back then to, where was it? Like PTC Brisbane or something. I can't remember the name, but like Jess Gilbert was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Scott Watson owned the gym. I went there, trained. They had like an Alico locked up in the office, and yeah, trained there. And then he registered me for a comp 10 weeks later at IU. That's how I did my first competition.
Wow, there you go. So I didn't prepare you for this question, but what do you feel like your team sport background has helped you with powerlifting?
So, I think I ended up into an individual sport because of team sports. I'm hyper competitive, and I'd have sometimes, that hyper competitiveness would take it out on my teammates if they weren't performing to the standard that I wanted them to perform
You
at.
feel like other people would let you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I feel like sometimes I could be letting them down by not performing my role to the best of my ability. So doing like more of an individual sport makes me like, I'm accountable now. It's all up to me to do the work, and no one else can, I guess, get in the way of that and make the result different based on nothing I've done.
Yeah, interesting. How about like the work ethic aspect? Did you feel like playing a team sport gave you a leg up on most powerlifters? Because I find that a lot of people who get into powerlifting who don't have a sporting background, like they don't really know what hard training or hard work actually feels like, because they haven't run fucking hill sprints and they haven't done stuff till they throw up in footy training, which like, I did growing up. And I see a lot of powerlifters come in and they literally don't know what it is to train hard.
Yeah.
Whereas like you obviously do. Do you feel like that work ethic came from footy and boxing?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think some of my coaching also comes from that too. I'm not afraid to be like a hard ass with my coaching and really like drill someone if they're not doing something that, they've said that they're going to do. Like, obviously they're harsh conversations, but if someone comes to us and they say, "Hey, I want to be the best or one of the best," like I believe that kind of opens the door for us to be able to almost footy coach someone in a sense if they're not adhering to the program or doing something ridiculous, and then not understanding why. And it's like, well, because you're being an idiot, right?
Yeah, the actions have to align with the expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like that kind of coaching style worked for you as a player? Like coaches being like really brutally honest and really tough with you?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with it. It's something that I would respond to. It's also something that, like, as like a kid, I'd turn around and tell them to, get stuffed, right? Like, that's just the type of person that I was. But I'd always listen and take it on board. We'd have a tantrum every now and then, and I'd walk off the field, but I'd come back the next training session, apologize, and then, get the work done and get into it again.
Yeah. Cool. So let's go into your powerlifting career now. So you started through Sean Muir and doing comp at IU. You've had like a lot of injuries in your career. And
Yeah.
I want to get into that in a bit more detail, but can you tell everyone every injury that you can remember off the top of your head?
To be honest, I don't remember much of the little ones. So,
What are the big ones then?
we got the big ones. We got the snapped humerus, so breaking my arm, which was, well, it was a little one, right? It was a shoulder issue that lingered for 6 to 8 months, and just wouldn't go away. And I couldn't understand why. I was getting treatment every single week, and like that obviously proved to me how much I cared about this sport, because if I'm willing to fork out $150 to see a physio every single week because my shoulder hurts, and then while I was on apprentice wages and driving all the way into Brisbane because I lived Sunshine Coast to see the physio, I was like, this means a lot to me. And at the same time, like, I don't care how much pain I push through, like, I'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
And so just kept getting, it didn't go away, wouldn't go away, just wouldn't disappear. And then I remember the day that it happened, and I think I've said this to a few people before, but like, I was a butcher for 10 years. And the day that my arm snapped, I couldn't put my knife through like a nice tender rump, like just couldn't slice it. My arm was in that much pain. I like went to put, and these are sharp knives, right? Like we'd spend hours on the stone sharpening our knives. Just couldn't break the fat at all.
And this was like before you broke it? Like
it was the day it broke.
And you broke it like that afternoon or something?
Yeah. So I had to, because I was the boss at the time, I had to grab the apprentice and be like, hey, can you cut this rump? Because I usually like would get the yobby to do the shit work, right? I'd get him to unload the pallets and put everything away while I'd just cut the meat and do what was easy in the afternoon so I could knock off, because it was a Friday afternoon, and I just wanted to get out of there. And we would used to get tons of stock in, and I was like, oh, can you do this? And I'll put like pallets of meat away. And he's like, why? And I was like, oh, I can't. I think like pushing down on my arm right now just hurts too much. I literally cannot do it. He couldn't understand, because he was like, every Friday I would get him to piss off, go grab all the meat, bring it down and put it in the cold room for us. And he just like couldn't comprehend with that I'd like said, no, I'll do that. Being as the boss and him the apprentice.
Yeah, you're doing the shit job, yeah.
Yeah, and he trained at the gym as well. He also lived with me too. So he come up to me after we finished and he goes, that's your shoulder? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, you're not going to the gym tonight, are you? And I was like, you know I'm going.
Of course I am, yeah.
Yeah, of course I am. And he goes, Steve, nah. He goes, like, it was something like, I can't remember the exact words, but it was like, you don't have to try and be like a tough guy through everything. Everyone knows that like you push through things. And I was like, no, I'm 2 weeks out from the first APU Nationals that they had in Newcastle. I'm going to train. I'm going to get this session in, and then I have one more heavy week, and then I taper. I'll be on.
Oh, so you were that close to comp? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so
And
that's
your humerus just snapped, like
Yep.
compound fracture.
I didn't compound, very very close to compound, but just snapped in half.
And what weight were you doing when you did it?
120 kilos. That
so
was all.
Just warming up.
Yep. So it was, for me, I did 100 kilos and then I walked off because it was just like, it felt like my shoulder was just like throbbing out of my body. And I walked off and I went and did some curls or something because I was like, I'm still going to keep training, but I can't bench. And I went into the bathroom and I just kind of like screamed at myself, like, just fucking do it. Just, if you can do 120, like, where I'm at, and because of the big breakup with the split in PA and APU back then, no one had really come across yet. So like basing myself on like I think 250, 260 squat, which I'd done in training already numerous times. And I think I'd pulled 270 already that prep as well. I actually pulled 270 the same day, but my arm was that sore, I had to strap up.
Right.
And I did that prior.
Right.
And so I was like, based off that, I only need to bench 120 kilos and I'm going to win, and then I can go to Worlds. So that was the first Worlds that I actually missed out on. which will I guess will lead to that later, and why the last one meant so much to me, and just everything just like kind of blew up in my face. But yeah,
So
that's
that was 2019 or 18?
20. I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
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 Because the Worlds after was Sweden. It was when Leo first kind of came onto the scene. Like he'd already been around, but he came on as a junior, and he totaled almost 700. And we were both like we were messaging each other. He was competing in the junior category. I was doing open, so both of us winning, we still would have gone to Worlds. And APU not being that big, we would have taken a big team.
Yeah.
But obviously didn't compete. I went down to Newcastle still in a sling. Had a few athletes then, so I handled them. But yeah.
So how long did that broken arm put you out?
In terms of going to the gym,
Or like benching?
benching, I think it was 8 to 10 weeks until I could bench a barbell again.
Okay.
Um,
So what about other big injuries? Have you had any other big ones, or that's the only like big one?
well, that's obviously like catastrophic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's a big one.
I guess because of your, push through anything kind of tough guy mentality, you probably don't consider
Yeah, I don't.
anything that's big at all.
Yeah, no. I felt the pec go multiple times, but never really thought anything of it.
You actually just hurt your knee downstairs like an hour ago.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, I don't know what that was. It just kind of just like popped, but then it's fine. I'll laugh about it 2 minutes later. So that was nothing. But I've had my back go. So there was another just like that tough guy mentality. Got to the end of a prep, huge SBD session 1 week out, and I did my first set of squats. I think I hit a huge single, a pretty big single. It was around 275 to 280. It was before we had a states at Sim City, and I hit that, and then I had like 7 triples after, and like I was to the point where I couldn't like really walk after the first triple, but then I did all of them.
Oh God!
And then I benched, and then I did the same amount in of deadlift sets. And by the end of it, even like Yuki was at my house, Yuki.
Yeah.
He's looking at me going, "You're crazy, brother." And I was just like, he's watched me just keep going, like basically just going, pulling weight, and he's just like going, "So this is what it takes." And I was like, "Don't ever do this." Like, but
so at the time, you're aware
yeah,
that what you're doing is stupid.
yeah, 100%.
But your brain just doesn't let you stop.
Yeah, it's like I'm aware that what I'm doing is stupid. I'm aware that it's not going to put me in a better position on the platform, but I won't not do it.
Because what we were alluding to earlier, you've set the expectation for yourself.
Yeah.
And you've been given something to do.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, in order for you to achieve your expectation, you need to tick the boxes.
Yeah.
And that's like non-negotiable.
Yeah, it's non-negotiable. Yeah. If my body is capable, and in that case, like was hurting, but was capable, right? Yeah, was hurting, but I was able to get the weight off the floor and finish the session, then I would do it. Even though between each rep, like I was laying on the bench like it was a bed.
Yeah, achievable with a big asterisk next to it.
And then that made the whole week leading up to the next competition. So the states at Sim City that next week, I think I only could do like my taper sessions were right back down to like 40 or 50% of just like nothing. And I was with Sean Noriega still back then, and he was just like, why did you do that? And I was like, well,
because that was my program.
I said, would you do it back then? And he was like, yeah, okay. And then he's like, okay, I understand. Cause
you two seem to be really similar in terms of like what you're willing to do.
Yeah.
We can talk about that as well. Do you find that that's the kind of coach that you need?
Yeah.
Is someone who's like as all in as you are?
Yeah. 100%. Like that improves my buy-in, and I think his buy-in too. Like, although like that was not smart of me to do that, and I should have said something in the moment.
Yeah, he gets it.
He gets it. He
Yeah.
understood it straight away. He
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, I get that. Like, we're cut from the same cloth."
And almost like if you had a coach who didn't quite have that level of commitment, they might not write something for you that's as aggressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
And you're almost suited to something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's why Sean and I like kicked off so well, and why I'll continue to work with him, because he just gets me. He knows that I'll eat shit for this. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. So despite all those like mini setbacks along the way, last year you totaled 742.5.
Yeah.
Is that in June?
June.
Yeah.
It was the week of Worlds in South Africa.
Yeah. So 742.5, which I think would have been like a top 3 or top 5 total.
Second.
At that Worlds. Yeah, second. There you go. What was your mindset like at that time in terms of like where you expected to go from there? And like, you know, put me in your shoes with how you were feeling after that performance.
So I'll go the build up too. So there was a lot in that competition. I'd asked emailed APU for kind of an exemption to go to Worlds South Africa. I'd asked for permission, see if I could go, because I knew what I was capable of doing in that time. And tried to get through the hoops to go, and essentially they sort of said no because I didn't do the collate nationals, but I had my own reasoning behind why I didn't do that. One part was that I was a bit injured at the time, but I could have done any total at the end of the day and done enough to qualify and gone to Worlds, because we didn't even take a full squad.
I was going to ask, was there a 74?
Leo went.
Okay, yeah.
But we still, I don't think, took like a full squad, and I would have had, even on one like my worst day, is still enough to be the next person that gets asked to
be
go.
one of the wild cards, yeah.
Yeah, so because I didn't do the collate nationals, I didn't go the appropriate route to try and go, and I asked for an exemption. But funny thing is, I had an exemption in my car from doctor to not do it, but I just didn't bother handing it in or asking for an exemption from the nationals. I just was kind of like, I'm sore, but I am capable, so I would never use that exemption. The only time I'd use an exemption is if I actually was not capable, like a broken arm or something. So I never used it, but had I used it, I probably could have gone to Worlds. But then when...
Do you regret that?
Nah, because I still stand by the fact that I wouldn't use an exemption unless I wasn't capable. Just because of, like I said before, like there was those sessions that I've pushed through, and that I'll just keep doing it, just because my body's capable, and I won't run from competition. I'd rather be beaten than say that I'm too sore to do something or something like that, just because that's how I operate.
That's definitely reflective in the World's performance just gone as well.
Yeah. I had...
We'll get to that.
Yeah, there was a lot. But so leading up to that, I'd asked, obviously, if I could go to see if I could go, or permission, and nothing happened. And then I got a phone call about 3 or 4 weeks out, and it was the board said no. And, you know, they had their reasons behind it, which is fine. Like, I obviously didn't go the right route to try and get to Worlds, skipped the competition that would have got me there. So prior to that actually happening, and the result coming through of their decision, I found the closest meet in Australia to do that was the same time period as Worlds, because if it comes through as yes, I'm ready to go. If it comes through as no, I'm going to show everyone what I would have done. So I did a lot of things, I guess, towards that to make it be like Worlds. But I obviously didn't fly all the way to South Africa or anything like that. But I purposefully drove down there from Brisbane to Canberra. So it was a 16-hour drive or something. I stopped in Sydney for the night and then got back up and drove the next day to Canberra. Just obviously it has like I'm not changing time zones or anything like that, but I spent the same amount of time sitting down like I would on a flight or
You,
something
you
like
needed
that.
to import like biltong and other South African things and eat only that kind
Yeah,
of food
yeah,
while
yeah.
you're in Canberra as well.
Yeah, there was I didn't go that far, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
was like I'm going to do this to be like, okay, this would have happened, but I do believe that I would have had to take a hit off my total a little bit. But I did do some things that were quite similar to having to go over there as well.
And I'm sure for you, it was more of like a statement to yourself that like
Yeah,
I'm actually at that level at the same time, at the same body weight, like in an actual competition, blah, 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 all those things.
yeah. And 742 wasn't what I was aiming for. It was where I landed on the day, and I didn't take into account anything that anyone did in South Africa when I totaled that. Like, I wasn't going to be that guy. And I didn't say, like, hey, this should have been, you know, second. I did write, like, you know, it's not, obviously not the platform I wanted to do it on, but it is what it is. But I didn't go and say I would have come second or this would have happened had I have gone, because I don't think that's the case, or that's not fair of me to say that.
Yeah.
But I still tried everything in my power to treat it like that.
Yeah, it's certainly a possibility that you had that kind of performance,
Yeah,
but you didn't actually have that performance, so you can't say that you did. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly
Yeah.
right.
So tell me how you were feeling after that. Then, was that kind of like a I've arrived moment for you?
I wouldn't say that one was. I had a meet in December before that, Effectus in just the year before, and I think that was the one where I was like, okay, like I went 7:30, and I was really like, yeah, like I can go somewhere, like because the way that I'm not sure if you've seen, but like I did not push anything hard that day. That was the last full prep I had and proper prep that I got through, and the easiest I've moved any third attempt. I hit 280, 170, 280 as well, or 285 or something.
Yeah, 730 would be 280.
Yeah, 280 as well. And then, but if you look at it, like nothing was hard. I had the ability to do 740 plus on that day if had I wanted to, but that wasn't what I was doing. It was just like putting together all these like not poor performances, but like performances with missed lifts. Putting together a 9 from 9 day, because I knew I was capable of it. I just would reach 2.5 to 5 kilos too much, and that made me look like I was stuck at 700 for so long.
And you see this happen with a lot of people who are like kind of entering the advanced stage.
Yeah,
They're like in the middle to high intermediate stage, and their total's sort of going up 2.5, 5, down 5,
yeah,
up 10, and it's like doesn't really seem like the needle's moving, and then they have that one meet and it's like plus 35,
yeah.
and it's like they didn't get 35 kilos stronger. They actually just like
Made attempts.
they peaked better. They picked better attempts.
Yeah,
Yeah, that maybe they lifted to a better standard, whatever it is.
yeah,
Yeah, that's so common.
yeah.
So after that 742.5, walk me through sort of the next turn of events that led to last year's nationals, where we were just talking before we started recording. You were strong and you were performing pretty well, but like your body was in shambles. How'd you get to that point?
So going back to Effectus again, that was the last full prep that I got through, and then it looks like I did all the way through to ACT States, where I did 742, but that prep was it was like a small roller coaster compared to what I went through the next 12 months after that. It was hit and miss. I was starting to get sore. So my adductor initially went, I don't know, said I can't remember any small issues, but yeah, that happened leading up to Effectus. It was like 3 weeks out, but didn't hinder me. I just felt like a little pop, and I still could get through all the work into Effectus and was fine. It was just like manage that, just manage session, like load on one session, and I was pretty fine. So I was fine, and then I come out of Effectus, and I just had this huge head, like I'm gonna push now, and I just kept pushing and pushing too long, and things got a bit out of hand. Right, my hamstring started to play out pretty bad. My hips and pelvis kind of just like it's just all over the place. Like my squat obviously now looks even more different, but back then it was just like biomechanically like a dumpster fire, right? And it was just like waiting to happen. Like shit was ready to break. It
So
was
you,
just
you put down sort of those lower body niggles to your technique mostly,
yeah, but
and
it
like
was
overloading it a lot in
yeah.
those bad positions.
Yeah, so my body would just compensate, and I'd created like the adaptation to be able to be strong like that. And I think like a lot of that is just like the resilience in my mind as well to push. But it wasn't efficient the way that I was doing it, but it worked. So it's like, why change it if it's working
It's
and I
hard to tell
wasn't
someone.
sore?
Yeah, it's hard to tell someone like this doesn't look like it's efficient
Yeah,
when the data is telling you my squat's improving, my deadlift's improving, and my body doesn't hurt. Like, why would I change it?
yeah. And then it all kind of just like came crashing down super fast. Like it was me being ignorant as well. Like I would, instead of like taking a week one or pulling right back and squatting something easy or taking a deadlift easy, like I just had this like, no, I've got to start the block at 250 or something like that and take that rather than just like let my body kind of recover. Just because, I was like, okay, we've done this 742. Now we've got to go to Worlds and we're going to like put Australia on the map. Essentially, that was my goal. And I just kept like banging my head against the wall, really, because all I was doing was making myself worse and not giving myself time to recover. So, although nationals looked like a strong prep, I wasn't doing much. There was probably 70 to 80% of the sessions I'd hit the top single that was posted on Instagram, but there was nothing done after that. Just because my body was not capable of doing it.
3x10 ice bath.
yeah. Basically, it was like just like go home, recover.
Yeah.
I could not do anymore. I'd try, but I just couldn't do it.
It's almost like your greatest strength is also your greatest weakness. In that,
Yeah,
like
yeah, man.
your mind is so strong, and you're like able to overcome all this difficult stuff to the point where it actually becomes an issue.
Yeah. So there's like the last squat I did before nationals. I squatted 290, and it's probably
I
like
remember that it was so high.
yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I was so sore too.
That was at Adonis Campbelltown, wasn't it?
Oh, that was 295. That was ages. That was
That one.
before that. But if you talk to anyone that was at Campbelltown that day, I hit 295. I hit 170 for 2x5 after, and they were like 10, 20 inches high. Like it was like a ruler length high. It was not good. And there was those sessions, and then the one before nationals, I did that, and then couldn't do anything after. Like, but I had to go into like a point where I've never been before, and I don't actually remember squatting
In nationals.
in the prep.
Oh, in the prep.
In the week before. Like, I don't remember that squat whatsoever. And I finished it, and like you could go through my Instagram and find it. Like, I just like racked it, and I looked back at Tom Chaplin, did something, and then go back under the bar, but I cropped it out. But I grabbed my phone and just pegged it, and I don't remember like doing any of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it bad?
Nah, it didn't hurt.
Oh.
It's until like I calmed back down, and I guess everything sort of came to that. Then I started to feel things again.
Did you like pass out or something?
Nah, I was just like blacked out, blacked the pain away, just didn't let it happen. And then, yeah, it was, if I could show you, I don't have now, but the warm-ups leading up to the 290 as well, like they were back together, that rule length high. And then the 290, I got down quite close to depth, but every single other one was not even a quarter squat, like a legit like high box squat. But then like 290,
You're just saving your hips for the
yeah. I was just saying, and after it, even Tom was just like, "I don't get you, hey," and I was like, "Man, I got no idea." So then I walked 220 out right after or something light that in comparison, and just walked it straight back in because I was like, "Nah, I can't do it. I can't even like break a little bit of the hips. I can't do nothing."
So nationals obviously went pretty badly, 3 for 9,
Yeah.
but you still won best lifter somehow.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And then what happened from that nationals where you seemed like you were actually pretty strong to then worlds where it seemed like you were kind of just like going through the motions towards the end?
Yeah. So I guess the lead up to Worlds, it was a big kind of a big an accumulation of not being able to get the work done. So I got away with it at nationals where, you know, a really bad day was still a 275 kilo squat. And I only hit one deadlift because I jumped twice after my opener, after I missed the second. But besides that, I didn't get a lot of work done leading up to nationals. But I'd done so much in so many years before that.
You had a good base.
Yeah, I had a phenomenal base, really. But then coming out of that, I couldn't establish this new base. Like I couldn't build it. And then I was trying everything.
Is that because your body was too sore? Like you were too hurt?
Yeah, I was too sore. And then it was me at the same time being like, I need to try. Like I need to try and do what I can do to put myself in a good position
And then the only way that you know how is just
to push.
banging your head against the wall, pushing hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because it's hard to come to terms with, okay, like I said earlier, like 4 years ago when I broke my arm was meant to be my first Worlds. That's the one that I was meant to do. And then there was COVID. And then there was the
Collate. Yeah.
Yep. And all these kind of things just couldn't let me go, or they were just like setting up barriers, just doors that I had to keep going through. And then I finally got that spot. I was able to go. I wasn't gonna not work my ass off, and the way that I know how to do that is push through anything and just train hard. So I wasn't gonna not do that just because my leg was sore. I was gonna try and do it, but that was just putting me in probably a worse position, but I learnt a lot from it.
Yeah. What did you learn?
So wasn't just the fact of now obviously training's going quite well, but I already knew, like, you know, I can push myself through anything. But I guess I've learnt now after, because now I don't have that looming deadline, right? I don't have this date that won't move and I can't move it. I can't reschedule Worlds or reschedule a competition because I'm not setting it to be strong by. I have states in 4 weeks, but I'm not as attached to states like I am to something like Worlds. I'm not going to push it if I'm sore. So I kind of realized that rather than being so attached to pushing so hard and through that pain, that I would have been in a much better position had I just been more patient early on, rather than being. I spoke with Danny about this like last week. It got to like February, March, and I was like, "You got to go now. Like you can't keep trying to rehab and trying to move better. Like you got to go." And I was like, rather than doing the movements that I was getting better, I was in the back of my mind just like time was ticking. So I've got to get back to what I know works really well for me. And, you know, I'm obviously known as a squatter. I've squatted more than the world record in competition. And that's my strength is low bar squatting. I need to be doing that 3 times a week because that is how I've responded best. So that's what I need to get back to. And then this kept ticking. So I slowly like introduced it, but I just went too aggressive with it. And then it just turned things back to how they were, if not worse, because I also didn't have that baseline that I had before to have the strength to be able to do what I was doing. Hadn't built that up either. So I was trying to push without an established baseline and no adaptations to actually handling anything heavy, just made things really bad.
Yeah, recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So when you actually got to Worlds, did it almost feel bittersweet being there and not being at your best? Can you run me through like what it was like emotionally for you after, 3 failed years where you couldn't go due to different circumstances, and then you're finally here and you're, not in a position that you're actually proud of?
Yeah. So I think getting there right, I was meant to be lifting in prime time. That was something that I'd looked forward to. And there was a little bit of hype about that, like King Lifts had posted things, and that the big post that I'm with Stephen, and there was Taylor and Carl and Tim and stuff all on that as well. That put a lot of pressure on me because I already have really high expectations of myself, and then knowing at the same time that I'm not going to be that strong, like I'm not the person that could walk in any day of the week and squat 5 reds and a collar whenever they want anymore during that prep. And just coming to terms with that didn't actually happen until I got to Malta. So it was like this big push, and like every second day or second session or something, because I never knew if I was going to be able to get through the session. Most of the time I'd be in that much pain. And then I'd I'd try, I'd keep showing up, just kept showing up, kept trying to do the work. Like there was a session where I hit a single on squat and then tried to do a back down and couldn't do it. And this was probably like 6 weeks out from Worlds, and then the boys like Tom, Sam, like they'd get around me and like get like yell at me at belt squat because that's all I could do, and just they'd push me to keep going because I told them to do that. Like I'm gonna need you boys to like get around me. Like this is actually really hard. Like even I can't do it at the moment. And Tom would be like, "Shut the fuck up, get on the belt squat, keep going," because that's like what I needed at the time. It wasn't just a pat on the back, you'll be all right. It was, nah, get up, do it.
Yeah.
And I just had that conversation with them and told them to really push me because that's what I wanted.
So you mentioned that you didn't really click that you weren't quite where you thought you were until you actually got there.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you were just like pushing it to the side and being like,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to keep working and I'm going to get there, I'm going to get there, I'm going to get there. And then it just never happened?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And then I got there and then just realized and came to terms with it. And that was kind of when I was like, hey, like, if you try to do what these other guys are going to do and what you think you should be capable of doing, you're going to bomb in front of the whole fucking world. So just don't do it. Like, take it for what it is. This is the first one now, and we'll enjoy the experience, or I'll enjoy the experience, and then do whatever it takes to get back there, and then I'll do what I know I'm capable of.
So did you actually enjoy the experience after you came to terms with your own performance?
Yeah, the back room warming up, I was having fun. I was having fun with it. Once I sort of just went like, I think almost the fact that I got changed to B group the day of the competition as well.
That took some pressure off?
Yeah, yeah, and then it was fun, and like I was walking around, like I was talking to Joe in the back room, Joe Jordan, and just like a few other people I knew, and we're just enjoying myself because it took a lot of pressure off. It wasn't this like big crowd in front of me in the stands where I was not. I would have been 40 kilos behind everyone else, whereas I should have been right up there with them.
Yep.
And that did take a lot of pressure off, and I felt better just knowing that, okay, let's just go out and experience, see what it's like, and then like I said, come back, do whatever it takes to get back there again.
So now that you've kind of learnt all these lessons from the prep, you've experienced what it's like to travel across the world, change time zones, and lift, and you didn't perform the way that you wanted to, but you've almost ticked that box off that like you've been there before. Is the drive and the hunger for the next one even greater than it was 4 years ago?
Yeah, it's crazy now. It's that it's back. Like I feel like I did 4 years ago. The last couple of years have been a bit blurry. I've accomplished things and I've done well on the platform and everything like that, but it's not what I wanted to do because it's always been worlds that I wanted to do and perform well. And now it's like I've ticked that off. Now I've got to go back and really perform as well as I can do. And I guess at the same time, had that injury, and now because I don't have that deadline, I've been able to get better, and I've just found this enjoyment in training again. I'm really happy, like enjoy just like putting a bar on my back, training hard, but being able to notice the signs now of when it's too much, and because I had those periods where I wasn't able to, I guess, push as hard as I could push, or I wasn't able to do those back downs, it's so much easier for me to kind of pull back, disengage, and then just drop the load and go again, rather than before it'd be like, nah, just it'll be fine, push through it. Now it's like, nah, you can hold on to this strength pretty damn easily, and you'll probably generate a ton more momentum if you do manage the load and get things better, but keep moving the way that you want to move.
Yeah. So you're how many weeks out from States now?
4.
Can you tell everyone what you're going to hit? And just bear in mind that this podcast will be released before you compete. No, after you compete, sorry. So everyone will know your results. So can you tell everyone what you're going to hit?
I want to hit more than I did at Worlds.
Yeah.
I don't have anything in particular set in mind. Like, I would like to beat that ACT total.
Do you think that's possible?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I'm weaker than I was then. Definitely think. Well, I pulled 290 on that day and squatted 285. I got to make sure I hit bench depth though. Like, well, that's the other thing. Going to Worlds, like getting away from like just about me, like going to Worlds and seeing the bench depth being judged there, and then seeing what happened at Women's States was like, fuck. I'd gone to Worlds, got my white lights, did everything right, and now then I was like, I can actually like soft touch a bit, and I'll be fine, based on what I seen at Worlds. And then I come back, and it's like, oh no, just like last week. Now I'm like, oh shit, I got to go back to sinking real fast.
It does seem like the APU has such strict grifting at the moment.
Yeah,
Like at Nationals last year, some of the people that were done for depth was like mind blowing. It was like baffling. Your squatting. I wasn't there for Friday. I only got there on Saturday. But like I saw the videos of your squats, your second squat.
Yeah.
And I was like completely baffled. I'm probably gonna get banned for this. Like completely mind blown.
I got a red light.
Yeah, I know. And then you get to the world stage and it's like less strict.
Yep.
It's supposed to be.
That's exactly how it felt.
It's supposed to be. Well, it's actually supposed to be the same.
Yes, across the board, yeah.
But in, usual circumstances from like country nationals to a world level, the standard seems to be stricter at the world level.
Yeah,
So
well,
it seems interesting that
I
we
wouldn't
are
even say
stricter.
that's supposed to be the standard. We're meant to go off what the world standard is, right? And so how do we take this level up when we're also taking a level down at the same time, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, the standard of lifting is lower, but the strictness is stricter.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've obviously gone through your whole journey now, and it seems like you're finally on the upward trajectory and finally going to do the things that you've set out in your mind to do. What is it deep down that keeps you like pushing through all the tough shit?
Ooh. I don't have a really straightforward answer, I guess.
Luckily, this is long form podcast content, and you can talk for 10 minutes if you want.
I suppose I just have that embedded in me, right? To just kind of keep going.
Got the dog,
man. I've been through some shit in my life, like, from I've been on the opposite side of the spectrum, right? I've been homeless, back in the day, lots of other things, hung around with the wrong people, seen some stuff, done some stuff, and always just like kept pushing through life. And I guess like I learnt a lot from that, and that's why I just keep showing up and keep going. It's just like, I don't think there's any real message to take from that. It's just like me as a person have just always just kept striving to pull myself out of that to get better. And I guess powerlifting was like my outlet from all the shit that I went through from like almost 17 till 21 almost, was such a really dark period of my life that I haven't really touched on too much, but a lot happened in that period. But powerlifting after the boxing became the outlet for me to really just like let things go, and then just like I just keep pushing with that.
So almost like working hard is your way to like make yourself better.
Yeah, and I
like,
feel better.
No matter what obstacle gets in the way.
Yeah.
Your objective, because you've experienced those things, is to get into a situation that's better for yourself.
Yeah, and almost like I love being back against the wall type stuff. Like put me in that situation and I will fight my way out of it. Like just because I've done it so many times and I know that can almost, we're good at the end of it.
So I'm gonna put you in a shitty situation now. I'm gonna tell you right now that you're gonna go 3 for 9 at States, and now you have to prove me wrong.
I'll still win best overall.
Yeah, you definitely will. All right, we'll get one more question, and I haven't even thought of my answer to this.
Me either.
We were
spoken about
messaging
this
on Instagram about this. Well, what's the worst piece of advice you've ever given a client?
It's a really hard question. I think.
Let me start with this. Do you ever look back on a program you've written like 3-4 years ago, or some sort of like something that you've done in your coaching practice 3, 4, 5 years ago and like cringe?
Oh yeah, we all do. We'll do that again in 3 or 4 or 5 years.
100%. Yeah. I think that's a mark of a good coach, to be able to like change your practice as you go and then look back and be like, who was that guy?
Yeah. How did that work? Maybe not like the worst advice or something I've given someone, but maybe tried to mold someone into someone that they weren't. It's probably the worst thing that I might have done before, because that's then turned someone into not who they wanted to be as a lifter. It was more who I wanted them to be.
Yeah. I've experienced that as well with like lifters who had a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And I wanted them to compete, and go to nationals and do well, but they never really had it in them.
Yeah.
Mentally, they never really wanted that out of the sport. They just wanted it as a hobby.
Yeah.
But I kind of like jammed it down their throat, thinking that that's what I would want in that situation.
Yeah.
And then they end up, resenting it or leaving or whatever else.
Yeah.
I've definitely experienced that as well.
I think that might be the worst thing, because then it's like, well, I've pushed that person away from something that when they came to you, they loved.
Yeah.
And I've essentially ruined it for them.
Yeah. It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was probably when I started out as a like full-time powerlifting coach, 2016-ish. And I thought it was like really, really hardcore to like just use barbells and never use machines. And like,
Yeah.
And I reckon every program I wrote for like a 6-month period had 0 machine work in it. And it was always like, nah, like if you want to do rows, it's barbell rows. If you want to do more pec volume, it's more bench. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
Which is just absolutely terrible and like almost opposite to what I do now.
Yeah. But at the same time, you look back and go, fucking love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining me, man. That was a really good chat.
Oh, thank you.
Last thing is tell everyone where they can find you and hit you up for coaching or follow you on the gram.
Yeah, well, obviously just on Instagram, Stephen Day _Performotion, or DM me for coaching, I suppose. I think quite a lot of people know that I'm quite full. But yeah, that's just where to find me, or listen to our podcast as well.